The question I want to pose to you today is how much of who we are as men and women is shaped by our biology and how much is shaped by our culture? This is part of our daily conversation and interaction. A lot of times you hear people say, "Ugh, that's such a guy thing." Or guys will say, "Women." What does that really mean? Is there some kind of fundamental essence to being a man or being a woman? These are the kind of questions anthropologists want to explore. So I want to ask you all to do a little exercise today. I'd like to ask a question of the men and a question of the women in the room. So I'll start with the women first. Ladies, if you woke up tomorrow morning and you were a man, how would your life be different? All right? So just write whatever comes to your mind. The first 4 or 5 things, don't censor it. You won't have to say it. But just write down the first things that come to your mind. Okay, guys, the same question except in the reverse. If you woke up tomorrow morning and you were a woman, how would your life be different? Think about it from the time you wake up, what happens in the morning, going to school, going to work, in the evening, on the weekdays, on the weekends. How is your life different? Let's start with the guys this time. Gentlemen, if you're willing to share a few things on your piece of paper, what's different in your life? You wake up tomorrow morning, you're a woman. How's your life different? What's going on? Yes, in the back.
Yeah, I will be able to get pregnant, to be a mother.
All right. It's a big change. You could be pregnant, you could be a mother. Not small, not insignificant. Nicely done. Yeah, what do you got?
I would have to take more time to dress up in the morning.
Okay, what does that mean? You have to take more time to dress up.
I mean, like, just fixing my hair or putting on makeup.
Because you're a woman. Okay, what do you got?
I would have to act different.
How would you have to act different?
Less manly, because that would be a little.
You'd have to act less manly. Is that what you?
Yeah.
What does that look like? Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, I don't know. I guess it's gonna give a different reaction to people if you act a certain way. Like if you're wearing a skirt and you have your legs open like a guy, it's gonna be very, like, well, what's that? What's wrong with her?
All right. Yeah. So it's not just like big things like getting pregnant, being a mother, but it's like how you sit, and it's gonna change depending on this change. What do you got, Nicholas?
I would not be embarrassed for sitting down on a crowded train.
Oh, so you could have a seat on the crowded train as a woman.
Yes.
Somebody would give it.
Well, much easier than for men.
Okay, so things change. Andrew.
I wouldn't feel comfortable going outside at night.
Interesting. So waking up as a woman would change how your sense of safety.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would take me longer to go to the bathroom.
It would just take you longer to go to the bathroom. I won't even explore that further. Hey guys, anything else that came to mind that hasn't been brought up? Yeah.
It'd be easier to get a job, but less pay.
Oh, interesting. So as a woman, it would be easier to get a job, but you'd have less pay. Say that more about, what does that mean it would be easier to get a job?
Well, usually it's guys that are hiring or the bosses. And then women, most guys are attracted to females. And so the attraction adds to what she brings to the job.
So you imagine that there's a hiring bias in favor of women, that guys who are hiring are going to hire women more regularly, but they're going to hire them at a lower salary.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Any other thoughts from the guys?
Shave your legs to be considered normal, I guess.
You'd have to shave your legs. Great. So let's go on. Ladies, what's going on with you? You wake up tomorrow and you're a man. How's life different? Now the guys just get to listen, right? Yeah, go ahead.
I need a new wardrobe.
You need a new wardrobe. What would you have to get?
I don't know. Men stuff.
Okay. What else? Yeah.
As a guy, I would feel that I would have more responsibility to take care of my family.
Ooh, so you feel like you have to have more, take more responsibility for your family as a guy. Interesting. What else? Yeah.
Roll out of bed and go to school.
You just roll out of bed and go to
Right?
school. What is that?
Just wake up, less maintenance.
Less maintenance. What does that mean? Less maintenance.
It means that guys don't have as much to do and they can get dressed and go off.
Run a comb through the hair and
No.
not even.
On walking down the block, they can do.
Nice. It's amazing what we imagine about each other, isn't it? Go ahead. Melita.
I would probably be more fit if I was a guy, just
Yeah.
because you could go to the park and just play basketball with guys who are already there. You can't really do that as a female because there aren't females playing already.
Okay, so opportunities for sports and exercise are very different.
Yeah.
Are the standards around physical fitness and different, or? is that
Yeah,
both?
women are kind of pressured to be fit. Men doesn't really matter, so it's more of a hobby for them. Women kind of feel obligated by
Mhm.
society.
Interesting. All right. Other things? Sweet.
I'll have to face a new set of double standards.
Whoa. Tell me that. Explain that.
Like women are encouraged to cry in public. I mean, it's publicly or more acceptable for women to cry in public, and then men cannot. So they're discouraged from showing their emotions. Another thing is like the pay. Like men are generally get paid more. And now I'll see what women are complaining about.
Nice.
Like I'll enjoy the advantage over the woman. So that would be something that's
Interesting.
very different.
Okay, great. Is a last comment from the women about something that would be different? Anything else that needs to come up? So the follow-up question is, as you think about all the things that people have said, how many of these things are a result of a change in your biology, and how many of these things are as a result of your of what your culture expects of you? Right? If you wake up the next morning and you're a man and you've thought about all these things that are different, are they different because your new biology demands that, or because the cultural expectations about who you are as a woman instead of a man have shifted? Right? So it's incredible how much influence culture has on what we imagine a man is supposed to be like, or a woman is supposed to be like. What is masculine? And what's feminine. So in anthropology, we distinguish between sex, which we think about as the biological differences, and gender, which we think of as the cultural constructions of expectations for men and women. The expectations a culture has for how women and men are supposed to behave, the jobs that they do, and the feelings that they're supposed to have or how they're supposed to express them. And what's interesting when we look cross-culturally and we look at research and ethnographic research around the world is that we find that someone's sex does not automatically tell us what their gender roles are going to be. And this is very significant to show that that who we are as men and women can shift from culture to culture. So just because in your biology you have 2 X chromosomes as opposed to an X and Y for a man, you don't necessarily know which one's going to do the cooking. Right? In American culture, who does the cooking in your house? All right, the XX chromosome pattern, right? And if you go to a restaurant, who are most of the chefs? Men. So it's not a biologically determined fact that women are going to be better cooks. So as anthropologists, we're interested in both biology and culture, and we're particularly, as cultural anthropologists, interested in seeing how what we learn, how we're enculturated, what we learn from our family, our friends, the media, our religious organizations, our schools, shapes very fundamental parts of our character and our identity, as fundamental as who we imagine ourselves to be as men and who we imagine ourselves to be as women.